Hi everyone, it's Alice, and today we are going to tier rank all of the books that I read in 2024. Now, because I rate all of the books that I read on Goodreads, we're not going to do that here because it would be exactly the same. Instead, I've made 6 categories, all represented by a different emoji, and we are going to categorize all of the books into those. So it is going to be a little bit different. It's not just going to be from like good books to bad books or whatever. It's going to be, I hope, a little different. The first emoji that I've chosen is the smiling one with hearts around it, which is like super cute, and I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. The second one I have is the thinking emoji, which is for books that I thought were thought-provoking and that I still think about and that made me think. The third one is the shocked emoji, which again, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Then we have one that I don't know what this is called, and I don't know if the way that I see this emoji is the way that other people see it, but for me this is like a face that is relaxed and happy and satisfied and like very content. The fifth one is this one is so funny to me because I know that this is just supposed to be like a regular smile, but I think this emoji looks insane. It looks a little crazy and also like it has nothing going on up here. Like the light is on, but no one is home. So this is the one that I've chosen for books that are either just like okay or books that I've just forgotten. I forget a lot of the books that I read, so I think a lot is going to go into this category. The last one is the one shaking its head, and that just means no. Hopefully this will make for a little different and interesting ranking system, I guess. I feel like, for instance, I am really stingy with handing out 5-star ratings. It's pretty rare that I do that, but I can imagine a lot of books going into the emoji with hearts category because I did love them, even though I didn't like give them 5 stars. I don't know if this is making any sense. We should just get into it and see where things go. So I am gonna run through these relatively quickly. I'm not gonna dwell on each book and tell you what they're about or anything. And also, if you want to see like my best books of the year, I have made a whole video about that. So if you want all of the details and all of that, you can check that out. But yeah, we're just gonna get into it. We're starting with 84 Charing Cross Road, which is a book of letters. It's actually nonfiction, and this is very solidly up here. I really like that book. Then we have The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. I really enjoyed this book. I wouldn't say that I absolutely loved it. I feel like I was satisfied with it. Apocalypse Child, this is a memoir, and to be honest, I have forgotten this whole book, so we're gonna put it here. I feel kind of the same about A Tempest of Tea. I guess I do remember it, but I didn't enjoy this book as much as I thought I was going to, so we're gonna put this here as well. A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, T. Kingfisher. This is... it's not my favorite T. Kingfisher. I think we're gonna put it in the satisfied, content category. It is a lot of fun though. It's a very sweet and wholesome book. By Ash, Oak, and Thorn is also sweet and wholesome, but I didn't have as strong feelings about that, so we're gonna put that here. Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I enjoyed, but there were some things about the book that I also didn't enjoy, so I think this is gonna go into the regular smile as well. Chain Gang All-Stars, I would put this into made me think, because it definitely did. It wasn't a new favorite of mine, but it was a very interesting concept, that whole story. Factfulness by Hans Rosling, I would put into the made me think category. I do wish that I had read that book a few years earlier, because there were a lot of stuff in there that I already knew, but it was very interesting. Boy Parts, this goes into the shocked category. That book is something else. I thought it was great, but it was also disgusting, and it followed such an unlikable character, but she was so interesting as well, and I guess this could also go into the made me think, but it was also pretty shocking, so we're gonna put it there. Magpie Murders was the first book that I read in 2024, actually. We're gonna put this into the I'm happy with it category. I really enjoyed that book. It was a little bit long, but overall very enjoyable, and it was a good start to my reading year. Then we have this book in Norwegian. This I think we're gonna put into made me think. There were parts of it that were a little bit shocking as well, but it mostly made me think. It's a book set in like, it's about a woman stuck in a time loop. It was very interesting. I do really like books that deal with like time, so yeah, it was really good. Dallergut Dream Department Store, I was pretty happy with, so we're gonna put that into content. Raiders of the Lost Heart, we're gonna put this into the no category. I don't know why I thought I would like that book. I thought that there would be more like archaeology stuff and more like adventure stuff, and it was basically just a romance book. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. My bad. A Brief History of Black Holes definitely made me think. It was very interesting. I learned a lot. I don't remember that much from it, so I should reread it. But usually with these kinds of concepts, it takes me a while to like wrap my head around it, but it was very interesting. Special Topics in Calamity Physics. This is a book that I thought that I was gonna love because it's like, it's set in a school. It follows this girl who gets in with a group of interesting friends. Really did not like that book. The more I think about it, the less I like it. It was just not for me. It actually, like, I am the kind of person who likes really wordy writing. It was too wordy for me. It was too much. It felt overwritten. Not for me. Slewfoot is a book that I have been meaning to read for years. It's such a beautiful book. This took some turns, so I'm actually gonna put this into the shocked category because, like, towards the end it got really bloody, for lack of a better word, but I really enjoyed it. The second book in the Emily Wilde series goes into the loved category. I really love that book. Then we have this poetry collection by Emily Bronte. I don't remember anything from this. Voyage of the Damned, I'm gonna put into content. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was a lot of fun, if that makes sense. Until August by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I am gonna put this into the like second to last category. I thought it was interesting, but it was mostly interesting because it was published at all. I thought that part of it was the most interesting. The Spy and the Traitor by Ben McIntyre is one of my favorite books. It was a reread for me. I still think this is pretty shocking, so we're gonna put it into that. It's such a good book though. It's a nonfiction book, and it blew my mind the second time as well, even though I knew what was gonna happen. Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, I'm actually gonna put in the love category. I really enjoyed this book. It was really sweet and kind of weird and fairy tale-esque. I really enjoyed it, but I love T. Kingfisher. She can do me no wrong. Days at the Murasaki Bookshop, loved it. Really enjoyed that book. I think about it a lot. It was one of my favorites this year. Truly Devious, I'm gonna put into the smiley category, but I could also put this into the shaking my head. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I found the end of the book so frustrating because it basically doesn't have an ending. And I just thought that was very annoying. Vita Nostra definitely blew my mind. It was crazy. I talked to one of my friends the other day about this book, and I was gonna like try to explain what happened in it, and I couldn't because it gets so conceptual towards the end, and to be honest, I don't know if I fully understood it. I really liked it though. It was very twisty, super weird, kind of dark, but I really liked it, but it definitely blew my mind. The Last Murder at the End of the World, we're gonna put into just a smile. It was fine. I really like Stuart Turton and his books, but that didn't quite do it for me. Madam by Phoebe Wynne, we're gonna put into the love category. Really like that book. The Art Thief, we're gonna put into made me think. It was a very interesting story, and parts of it kind of blew my mind. It's about two art thieves who just got away with so much, and the fact that they got away with it is kind of mind-blowing. But yeah, it really made me think. How to Solve Your Own Murder made me happy to read. Really enjoyed it. I haven't thought about it a lot since I finished it, but I do think I want to read the second book. I think that's coming out this year. Her Majesty's Royal Coven, also really enjoyed. It was a cool witch book. Fresh Water for Flowers should almost be in its own category. If you pushed me to it, I might say that it was my absolute favorite book of the year. We're gonna put this into loved. This book just, I don't know, it made its way into my heart and I can't stop thinking about it. I also can't stop thinking about Tender is the Flesh, but that is for completely different reasons. This is one of the most disgusting books that I've ever read, and it was shocking and horrible, and it made me want to throw up. Technically, if I could choose, this would be put into its own category with like the puking emoji. We don't have that, so we're gonna put this into shocking. It is one of the most shocking books that I've ever read. My god. Animal Farm was a reread for me. Definitely made me think. I think it's a very thought-provoking book. I think everyone should read it. The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman is the fourth and, for now, a final book in the Thursday Murder Club series. I would say this made me happy to read, satisfied. I thought it was a really good ending to the series. The author has said that he may write more, but for now, he's done. And I thought it was a good place to sort of end it. The Woman in the Library, can't remember anything about this book to be honest. I think I enjoyed it, but it's kind of middling. Same with My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I thought I would really love that book. Felt very middling about it. It was just kind of there. The Enchanted April, this is a classic. I don't want to talk about it, but I really didn't like that book. A Song for the Wild Built, however, I loved, and it goes into the top category. Really enjoyed that book. I would really recommend it. I think it's very sort of calm and philosophical and mindful and very cozy. The Things We Do to Our Friends, even though it wasn't a new favorite and it lost me a little bit, I am gonna put this into like the satisfied category because I did quite enjoy it. Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng, I am gonna put into the no category. I was so disappointed in that book. Celeste Ng is one of my favorite authors. I've loved her other books, but that just really did not work for me for whatever reason. And yeah, I'm still disappointed in it, to be honest. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier did not disappoint, however. This is going to go into the love category. I was so happy that I finally read that book, and I really, really enjoyed it. The Broken Girls, I also loved. I thought that was really good, and I guess technically it could go into the shocked category as well because it really went some places I wasn't expecting. But I really enjoyed that book. Some of you recommended it to me, and I am very grateful because it was so good. The God of the Woods, also loved. One of my favorite books that I read this year. Oh, Liz Moore can just do no wrong. She's such a good writer. Vera Wong is a book that I had wanted to read for a while. I would say I was pretty satisfied with this. It was good. I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to, but I do love the main character. I really, really liked her, and I think I want to read like whatever next books comes out in the series because I really liked the main character. The Falcon Thief, I would put into Made Me Think. It was a very interesting book. Exiles by Jane Harper. I can't remember this book, which is kind of disappointing because it's the final book in a series that I really liked, technically a trilogy, but it wasn't as good as the other ones, I would say. Then we have another T. Kingfisher book, Nettle and Bone. This is my favorite book that I've read by T. Kingfisher. Definitely goes into the loved category. I really, really enjoyed it. Then we have Wayward. This is a book I was recommended so much, and I was really excited to read it because supposedly it was kind of witchy. I'm gonna put this into the like slight smiley face category because I wasn't that impressed by that book. It felt like a book that I had read before, which is a little sad. Then we have Near the Bone. This is a horror book that I read. I don't remember much about this book. I don't think I liked it very much, but I'm not a huge horror reader anyway. The League of Gentlewomen Witches. The thing with this, I'm gonna put this into the no category, but it's not because I didn't enjoy it. It is because it is so similar to the first book. It's basically the first book, but with different characters, and I found that to be really disappointing. And I did enjoy it, but I just wish that the story was different than in the first book. So I'm gonna put it into the no category, but I would recommend it. Like, it's a fun book, but yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. Then we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I know people love this book, so I am like an outlier. Please just ignore me. I hated this book. Well, hate is a little bit of a strong word, but it is a book that I initially gave 2 stars and I've now gone back and given 1 star because I really didn't like it. I really like V.E. Schwab though, so I don't know. For some reason, this book just really, it just did not work for me. I know a lot of people love it though, so feel free to ignore me. Then we have Anne of Green Gables. This is going into the loved category because I really loved that book. Cultish is a nonfiction book. This really made me think. I've thought a lot about this book since I finished it. It was very interesting. It was about the language of cults and how a lot of things use cultish language, even though it's not technically a cult. Very interesting. The Cove, I would say, left me pretty satisfied. I quite enjoyed this book. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, I'm gonna put into the shocked. It didn't make me like super shocked, but it was a little like scary, so I'm just gonna put it in there. The Gentleman from Peru, regular smiley face. I don't really remember this book. The Cloisters, I would say, left me satisfied. I quite enjoyed that book and I really, really liked the setting. In the Company of Witches goes into the same place. I really enjoyed that book. It has an amazing autumnal setting and I love cozy books about witches, so obviously I really like that one. The Color Purple is one of my favorite books that I read this year, so that's gonna go into the love category. Then we have The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I feel okay about this book. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite by this author, but I thought it was pretty good. It's very much like his style, so I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the setting. The Way Through the Woods, I'm gonna put into the made me think because it made me think. It was a memoir. Weirdly enough, this is actually translated from Norwegian into English and I read it in English. I should have just read it in Norwegian, but I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting, all about mushrooms. The Stranger in the Woods is also going to go into the made me think category because it was a very interesting story about this hermit and yeah, it just made me think. Those were all the books though, and I would say that this is pretty representative of how I feel about the books if you don't just rate them. Like, there's more books in the top category, like books that I loved, even though I didn't give all of them 5 stars. There's also more in the no category than my ratings maybe show, and for kind of different reasons, but I feel like this feels pretty accurate. That was kind of it though. I hope you found this interesting. I really enjoy doing these kinds of things because it makes me think about books a little bit differently, but also this time I got to look at all of the books that I read in 2024, which is cool to sort of look at them all together. I hope you found this interesting. I would love to know if you really disagree with me on some things, and also if you agree. I know that some of the books people are not going to agree with me on, but that's okay. We all have different opinions and we're all friends here. I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, thank you very much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye!